sitting by the river with her sister, who is reading a book to Alice.
Alice finds no interest in a book that has no pictures or conversations in it.
Suddenly, a white rabbit runs close by her.
How curious.
The white rabbit runs into a large rabbit hole. Alice crawls in after the white rabbit.
Alice has only a moment to think of stopping herself, but it is not enough time. She falls down the hole. Down, down, down she goes.
I wonder how many miles I've fallen. I must be getting somewhere near to the center of the earth. I wonder if I will fall right through to the other side.
Finally, the ball is over. Alice jumps to her feet and chases the white rabbit down another long passage.
Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting.
Alice comes to a glass table, and on it is a tiny golden key. Below the table is a very tiny door. She tries the key, and the door opens. She kneels down and peeps through the door. On the other side is a lovely garden.
Even if I could get my head through this tiny door, it would be very little use without my shoulders.
Alice eyes a little glass box on the table. Inside is a very small cake with the words "Eat Me" inscribed in frosting.
Alice tries a piece of the cake. Her head hits the roof of the hall, and her feet seem a mile away. Alice sits down and begins to cry.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself to go on crying this way. Stop at this moment, I tell you.
But she carries on just the same, shedding gallons of her giant tears in terms of the large pool all around her. As she continues to cry, the white rabbit returns with a large fan.
Oh, I'm so very, very late.
If you please,
The
sir.
white rabbit comes to his bride at seeing the giant Alice. He drops his fan and runs away. Alice picks it up and starts fanning herself.
How strange everything's been today.
Alice notices that by fanning herself, she's grown smaller.
A mouse swims past Alice in her ocean of tears. She swims towards the mouse, and he leads her to a nearby shore.
Alice? Oh, wait.
Drifting away, Alice reaches the shore and dries off.
Alice comes upon a rather large mushroom with a large blue caterpillar sitting on top, with his arms folded, taking not the slightest notice of her, or anything else.
Who are you?
Nothing, no, sir. At least I knew who I was when I got up this morning, but I must have changed several times since then.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
Well, I can't explain myself, sir, for I don't understand it myself to begin with. You see?
I do not see.
Well, I'm afraid I can't put it any more clearly, for I don't understand it myself to begin with, and being so many different sizes in one day is very confusing.
It is not.
Well, perhaps you haven't found it so yet, but when you have to change into a butterfly, and then into a chrysalis, and then into a butterfly, I believe you would find it rather strange, won't you?
Not a bit.
Well, perhaps your feelings may be different. All I know is it feels very odd to me.
You. Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Keep your temper.
I'm just frustrated with my size.
What size do you want to be?
Well, I would like to be a bit larger. Being 3 inches is such a wretched height to
It
be.
is a very good height indeed. I am exactly 3 inches high.
I'm not used to it. Oh, I wish the creatures here weren't so easily offended.
Well, here, one side of the mushroom will make you grow taller, and the other side will make you grow shorter.
Alice takes a bite from one side of the mushroom, and her chin instantly hits her foot. She takes a bite from the other side and shoots up into the trees. Her head is high above the treetops, and she cannot even see her hands in the branches.
She crouches down among the trees and takes a tiny nibble of the other piece of the mushroom. She immediately shrinks down. Oh, what is that?
As Alice is walking through the woods, she notices a Cheshire cat sitting in a tree. The Cheshire cat only grins at her.
Cheshire Puss, would you please tell me which way I ought to go from here?
Well, that depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
Can you tell me what sort of people live about here?
Well, in that direction lives a hatter, and in that direction lives a hare. Visit either you like. They're both mad, though.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Well, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad.
How do you know I'm mad?
Well, you must be, or you wouldn't be here.
And how do you know you're mad?
Well, a dog's not mad because he growls when he's angry and wags his tail when it's pleased. Well, I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad.
I call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like. Are you playing croquet with the queen today?
I would like it very much, but I haven't been invited.
You'll see me there.
The Cheshire cat vanishes. It does so slowly, beginning with the end of its tail and ending with a grin.
Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin, but a grin without a cat is the strangest thing I've ever seen in all my life.
Alice decides to go to the March Hare's house.
There is a table set out under a tree in front of the house, and the March Hare and the Mad Hatter are having tea. A dormouse is between them, fast asleep. The table is a large one, but the 3 characters are all crowded at one corner of it.
No room! No room!
There's plenty of room.
Alice takes a seat at the end of the table.
Have some jam.
I don't see any.
There isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table. It's laid out for a great many more than 3.
Why is there even like a writing desk?
I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean you think you could find the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least, I mean what I say. It's the same thing, you know.
It is not the same thing a bit. You might as well just say I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see.
Might as well say that I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best butter.
Yes, but some crumbs must have gotten as well.
What a funny watch you have. It tells you what day of the month it is, but not what o'clock.
Why should it? Does your watch tell you what year it is?
Of course not.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give up. What's the answer?
Slightest idea.
Well, I think you would do something better with the time than waste it asking riddles with no answers to it.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him.
Do you talk to time?
Not I. We quarreled last March. Just before he went mad, you know. It was the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, where I had to sing.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at. Up above the world you fly, like a teacher in the sky.
Well, I'd hardly finished the verse when the Queen jumped up and bawled out, "He's murdering the time! Off with his head!"
How dreadfully savage!
And ever since then, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
Is that why so many tea things are laid out here?
Have some more tea.
I haven't had any, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Really, I don't think...
Then you shouldn't talk.
This last bit of rudeness is too much for Alice to bear. She gets up from the table and walks away in disgust.
That was the stupidest tea party I've ever been at in all my life. I'll never go there again.
Alice notices a tree with a door in it. She opens the door and steps through.
Alice enters the beautiful garden that she had seen before. There are various gardeners painting the rose bushes red. The gardeners are shaped like playing cards.
Excuse me, sir. Would you please tell me why you were painting those rose bushes?
Well, you see here, miss, this here ought to have been a red rose tree, and we put a white one in by mistake. And if the queen was to find out, we had our heads cut off, you know. The queen! The queen!
Who's this?
My name is Alice, Your Majesty.
And what are these?
How should I know? It's no business of mine.
Off with their head!
Nonsense!
Consider, my dear, she's only a child.
Get up! What have you been doing here?
Well, you see, miss, we were
I see! Off with this head!
Can you play croquet?
I can.
Come then.
Alice follows the Queen to the croquet ground. She notices that the white rabbit is walking beside her.
It's a very fine day. Get to your places!
Everyone scrams into place. The croquet balls are live hedgehogs, and the mallets are live flamingos. The soldiers double up on their hands and feet to make the arches. Alice tries to hit a hedgehog with her flamingo, but the flamingo is uncooperative, and the hedgehog won't sit still either. The game is virtually impossible, and the Queen is angry at everything and everyone.
Off with this head! Off with this head! Off with their heads!
Suddenly, the Cheshire Cat appears.
How are you getting on today?
I don't like it at all. They have no rules, and you have no idea how confusing it is to play with all these things being alive.
Who are you talking to?
A friend of mine, a Cheshire Cat.
I don't like the looks of it. However, it may kiss my hand if it likes.
I'd rather not.
Don't be impertinent, and don't look at me like that.
Off with this head!
Alice notices there is a trial about to start. She watches as everyone gets ready. The king becomes the judge, and a jury box is set up and 12 creatures sit in it. The white rabbit blows 3 blasts on the trumpet and unrolls the parchment scroll.
The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he took those tarts and took them quite away.
Call the first witness.
First witness!
The Mad Hatter walks in with a teacup in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in the other.
I beg your pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing these in, but I haven't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
You ought to have finished. When did you begin?
The Mad Hatter looks at the March Hare, who had walked in arm in arm with the Dormouse.
14th of March, I think it was?
15.
16th.
Give your evidence, and don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot.
But this only makes the Hatter more nervous. Alice suddenly feels a curious sensation. She's growing again. The dormouse has sat next to her and begins to feel uncomfortable.
I can hardly breathe.
I can't help it. I'm growing.
You have no right to grow here.
Don't talk nonsense. You know you're growing too.
Yes, but I grew at a reasonable pace.
The Mad Hatter continues to state his case.
I am a poor man, your majesty.
You are a very poor speaker. Now, if that is all you know about the prime